On November 20, 1995, an estimated 23 million viewers tuned in to BBC's Panorama to witness one of the most significant and historic broadcasts in television history. Princess Diana's remarkably candid interview with journalist Martin Bashir. Speaking from her sitting room at Kensington Palace, Diana stepped completely outside the traditional, rigid constraints of royal protocol to offer an objective, first-hand account of her life inside the institution, discussing her struggles with postpartum depression, bulimia, and the intense, relentless pressure of constant media scrutiny. It was during this historic broadcast that she delivered her famously matter-of-fact observation about her marriage, stating, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded," directly addressing Prince Charles's long-term relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles and exposing the deep fractures within the royal household. By speaking directly to the camera without the filtering lens of palace publicists, the broadcast gave the general public their very first opportunity to form an opinion, based entirely on Diana's own words, bypassing decades of royal mystique and media speculation. This unfiltered transparency resonated deeply with the audience. Seeing her vulnerability caused millions of viewers to believe her accounts implicitly, cementing an overwhelming public sympathy that firmly positioned her as the victim of a cold, outdated establishment. While this seismic wave of public support fundamentally shifted perception by humanizing the princess and showcasing her desire to be a queen of people's hearts, it also caused an immediate institutional crisis, prompting Queen Elizabeth II to formally advise the couple to divorce shortly after. Decades later, the broadcast remains a crucial historical touchpoint, underscored by subsequent independent investigations, which revealed that deceptive methods, including falsified bank statements, were used by the journalist to manipulate Diana's fears and secure the interview in the first place. This structural revelation adds a complex layer to how the event is viewed today, as later findings led the BBC to issue a formal apology and pledge never to broadcast the interview in full again, transforming the segment from a moment of unprecedented royal transparency into a defining case study in media ethics and the immense personal cost of public life. Although the BBC ultimately withdrew the program from future broadcasts, the enduring legacy of the Panorama interview lies in how it functioned as an unprecedented whistleblower report, lifting the heavy curtain of royal mystique to give the general public a stark, realistic understanding of the operational inner workings and psychological demands of the British monarchy. By stepping forward to publicly detail her experiences, Diana acted as a structural whistleblower, systematically exposing the institutional isolating mechanisms, the rigid expectations of conformity, and the severe emotional toll that an outsider faces when marrying into the royal family. Rather than relying on the carefully managed press releases or the anonymous palace sources that had previously controlled the narrative, the public was presented with a raw, first-hand account of the systemic lack of mental health support, mechanical handling of personal crises, and the intense, suffocating surveillance that defined her royal existence. This candid testimony effectively redefined the public's perception of royal life, transforming it from a romanticized fairy tale into a demanding, corporate-like apparatus where personal identity is often subordinated to institutional survival. By braving the immense backlash of the establishment to voice her truth, she invited criticism and grabbed many eyeballs, making her a target for scrutiny, but that didn't stop Diana from moving on and living her life. Following her highly publicized and painful divorce from Prince Charles in 1996, determined to write her own narrative, she poured herself into global humanitarian efforts while simultaneously seeking genuine happiness in her private life. By the summer of 1997, that journey toward personal peace led her to Dodi Fayed, and heir to the Harrods department store fortune, Mohammed Al Fayed, to vacation at his luxury villa in St. Tropez alongside her sons, Princes William and Harry. It was aboard the family's yacht, the Jonicol, that Diana and Dodi connected deeply, away from the rigid expectations of the British establishment. For a woman who had spent more than a decade feeling trapped and heavily monitored, Dodi offered an intoxicating mix of hyper-luxury, attentiveness, and a protective shield from the outside world. As Dodi had long lived in the shadow of his formidable father, while the relationship was filled with genuine affection, It also occurred within a complex emotional context for the princess. Biographers often note that the romance began shortly after Diana's painful split from British-Pakistani heart surgeon Hasnat Khan. Dodi provided a glamorous, healing distraction during a time of emotional vulnerability, showering her with lavish gifts and the absolute security of private jets and secluded estates. By August, blurry photos of the couple embracing on the Mediterranean had captured global headlines, cementing their status as the world's most talked-about couple. The true nature of their long-term potential remains one of history's great questions, cut tragically short before it could fully mature. While Mohammed Al-Fayed later claimed the couple was on the verge of announcing an engagement, close friends of the princess insisted she was merely enjoying a joyful, carefree summer romance with no immediate plans to remarry. On August 31, 1997, just weeks into their relationship, killing Dodi instantly and leading to Diana's death hours later. Though brief, Diana's final weeks with Dodi Fayed represented a definitive chapter of defiance, showcasing a woman who refused to let past heartbreak or intense royal scrutiny stop her from seeking affection and living life entirely on her own terms.